Hey Exiles, welcome to the channel. In today's video we are going to be looking at Act 3 on our way to the more brutal acts. We're going to be deleting bosses, blowing them up, and we're all going to do it all on a budget, just using the gear that we find. Now I say on a budget, but we will spend gold and we will spend exalts and that sort of thing that we find, but we're only going to spend it on the gear that we have. And actually, running through the jungle there, I did pick up a scepter. It's not a huge upgrade because it only has +1 to minion level of minion skill gems, but it's got a spirit upgrade for me. So, and it's got some buffs too. And we're going to gamble a little bit, just grab some random scepters in hopes that we get one with +2 to minion skill level. And not a lot of luck there. So just dump that back into the NPC. And speaking of the NPCs, we did hit a level, so again we're going to stick to checking the NPCs when we hit level, if we can. Sometimes you can't. And this is a decent wand. This is not outstanding, it's not a huge upgrade for me, but it is an upgrade, I believe. So just a few thousand gold and we got an upgrade, so it's worth checking the NPCs. So we're going to go ahead and use that and just sell the old one, because we'll use that gold later on to gamble. And just double check to make sure I didn't get an even better wand there. And maybe I'll grab this ring. Yeah. Now this boss, I'm gonna make mistakes here, so I don't have enough resistances to cover the damage from this. It's gonna be poison damage on this boss, so I tried to offset that with a charm, which you can do. So if you're a little short, the charm can make up the difference. Once or twice you only got to charge or 200 charms, and it did help, but I didn't have enough because it got through the charms and it got me. So we try and did pretty good. I mean, it held up pretty well. We're at about 60% of the boss's hit points and narrowing him down. He's got his energy shield back up. And are we going to make it? Almost. I mean, it's really close. And this is just with, I think I've got like 30% resistance plus the charm. That'll put me at 55, right? So 55 when it procs. But you run out of procs, which is exactly what I did here. And they got me. And then they just pushed my dead body right in the center there. It's kind of disrespectful. So went to town. Got a ring. I juggled jewelry around so that I would have the proper resistance. Now I lost fire resistance over this, but that's okay because he doesn't do any fire damage. So now I've got the ring, I've got my resistances up, and I'm still not quite there, but I do have the charm, so that's going to make up the difference. And I shouldn't use all of the charges this time. So what do? We try again. So go back out and give it another try. And that's the thing, you can't get discouraged. You can play around with your gear and get your resistances for the boss. If you don't know what they are, you fight the boss and it kills you, well, it was using poison, so we know we got to work on that. So you gear appropriately as best you can. And it got me. But again, this was my bad, and that's death number 10, by the way. What I did was I forgot to go to the well and fill up my charms. So my charm didn't have any charges, and I just had a little bit better resistance, but it wasn't enough. Now that I've got the resistance the same, and the charm is filled up on charges, it's not going to be a problem. We've already got him down to about 35% hit points or so, maybe 40. I'd say 40. I'm not good with percentages when I'm looking at a bar. So let's see here. But he does do a lot of damage to me with the poison, but it's not enough. I don't think my charm even had to kick in there. So got him. Now this next area is kind of important. You want to make sure that you're killing the big guys in the next part of this area, because they do drop the heart, the sacrificial heart, which if you haven't been to this point yet and you're new to the game, that's something to watch out for. So you want to make sure you grind through there and kill all of those you can to get that heart. But we've got a little bit of gear from the boss, a little bit of gear from working our way up to the boss, and we'll go kill a couple more things. And sorry if you hear the cat there. I've got a cat that's fascinated with the microphone. And let's see here. We got a few things, but nothing good. Actually, no, we do. So just check the NPC shop just to make sure. Now, see, I've got a helmet there. That helmet, it is an upgrade. Because this helmet has +2 to the level of minion skill gems. So I'm going to take some of the currency. Again, I do have currency from my main character, but I'm not using that even if I get it out of the stash. I've got it all written down here. So I am using just the exalts and regal orbs that I find on this character. Okay, and I do lose fire resistance, but it's still an upgrade. So I'm going to go ahead and put another exalt on it. Make it as good as I can. And you can make the argument that you could get a better helmet, or at least the same helmet with the 3 exalts that I put into this. Yeah, probably. You got a chance anyway. But the way the market fluctuates, you're better off just trying with what you got. Plus, there's no stop to the game. You just pop the exalts. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. You move on. And that's the point of this. Just trying to do with what you have without having to go out to an outside source, the POE trade, to show you don't have to farm currency all the time. A lot of people are looking at farming currency, haven't farmed any. I've got a +2 helmet now, or a helmet with +2 level of minion skill gems, +1 to the minion skill gems on my weapon, good spirit on the weapon. My amulet's got good spirit on it right now. Chest piece, so I'm in pretty good shape. And as you can see, the bosses aren't a problem at all. I have to play around with the resistances from time to time, which is part of the game. But for the most part, you're going to be able to dominate through the whole game. Now this whole setup here is just getting us into cruelty difficulty, and it's not going to be a problem. So let's see here. And just checking my build. Now again, you want to follow a build. I'm not showing my build because there are a lot of builds out there, and anything is going to do. Really, just go for minion damage. That's all I'm doing right now. Anything will do for this first 3 acts. You can worry about getting the most efficient build once you're up to mapping level. For the most part, you should be able to get through most of the game without worrying too much about the build, other than concentrate on damage and defense and any other synergies. But still, follow a build guide. And I'm going to recorrect my resistances here, because remember earlier when I was fighting the poison boss and I didn't have the right charm, didn't have the right resistances? Well, I remember. So when I got to this point, I only had 50% fire damage, or fire res. That's not going to work. This is a fire guy. So I had to switch out the ring, switch out the charm, and actually just switching out the ring got it for me. And like you see, I'm just running around in a circle, tossing a spell when I feel like it. The minions tear him down. And this is the final boss of Act 3, Doriani. Even Doriani isn't a problem, and he's just a damage test. He's just a big damage sponge, because once you get through his first layer of damage, he reforms, gets in his little spider tank, and you go around 2. Now, for the most part, I think he does lightning damage with some fire as well. But it's not a problem. Just run around in a circle, watch where you step. Don't stand where he's got those little lightning pods going off, and that's it. So really, that's all there is to this act, is just shuffling your gear around a little bit when you need to for your resistances. Make sure you pick up any upgrades that you do out in the field. Don't worry about spending exalts or regals on upgrading the gear that you do pick up. You're going to be able to go through everything. You're not going to have to sit and constantly farm an area. There are areas that you want to farm to get your level up and to make sure your resistances are where they should be. But you don't have to stress about it, and you definitely don't have to farm for 20 hours to get 10 exalts to go out and buy a new pair of boots or something like that. This is really all you need, just what you find as you go along. If this was helpful to you, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you want to see next time, because I will be doing the next 3 acts as one video, and just all the way into mapping, just to show you that that can be done as well with just what you find. But thanks for hanging out. Have a great day.